The night I went to check on my girlfriend's mother was supposed to be ordinary, a simple act of kindness before heading back to my quiet apartment. But the moment I stepped onto her dimly lit porch, I felt it in my bones that something in my life was about to tilt, slowly and permanently, like a photograph slipping out of a frame. The air smelled of rain, soaked earth and old jasmine, and the house itself seemed to breathe, heavy with memories and unshed tears. I had no idea that a single gentle request made as I was leaving would crack open parts of my heart I didn't even know were still locked. Before the story pulls you any deeper, if you enjoy emotional, real, life-inspired stories like this, please take a second to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who loves heartfelt narratives, and subscribe to the channel Stories Beyond the Porch. Your support truly keeps stories like this alive. My girlfriend had been out of town for work, worried sick about her mother, who had recently undergone surgery and was struggling more with loneliness than pain. I offered to check in, thinking I'd drop off groceries, make sure the lights were working, and leave a reassuring message behind. But when I arrived, the house felt too quiet, the kind of quiet that presses against your ears and makes you aware of your own breathing. Her mother looked smaller than I remembered, wrapped in a sweater that seemed to hang onto her like it was afraid she might disappear if it let go. The walls were lined with old family photos, frozen smiles from years when laughter came easily, and every frame felt like a reminder of how quickly life moves on without asking for permission. I busied myself with small tasks, refilling water glasses, adjusting pillows, checking medicine bottles twice, even though I knew they were already in order. Inside, I was fighting my own unease. I had lost my father years ago, and being in that house stirred memories I usually kept buried under routine and distraction. The fear of becoming a burden, the ache of watching someone you love grow fragile, it all came rushing back. I told myself to stay strong, to be helpful without being intrusive, but emotions have a way of leaking through even the tightest self-control. As the evening deepened, rain began tapping softly against the windows, and the yellow porch light flickered on by itself, casting long shadows across the living room. I felt the weight of responsibility settle on my shoulders, not because anyone asked me to carry it, but because love often arrives disguised as obligation. When it was time to leave, I stood near the door, keys in hand, already rehearsing how I'd explain to my girlfriend that her mom was doing okay, that she didn't need to worry too much. That was when her mother, with tired eyes and a voice trembling more from emotion than weakness, asked if I could stay there for the night. The request wasn't dramatic or desperate, just honest. It hit me harder than any crisis could have. In that moment, I saw not just my girlfriend's mother, but every parent afraid of facing the night alone, every house that echoes too loudly after the lights go out. My first instinct was panic. What would my girlfriend think, even though I knew there was nothing inappropriate in the request? What would people say if they knew? More than that, I wondered if I was strong enough to sit with someone else's vulnerability when I was still stitching together my own. I stayed, not because I was brave, but because leaving felt like turning my back on something sacred. That night unfolded slowly, measured by the ticking clock in the hallway and the steady rhythm of rain outside. I slept on the couch, barely closing my eyes, listening for any sound that might mean she needed help. In those quiet hours, I confronted my own fear of attachment, of caring so deeply that loss would someday tear me apart. Yet, strangely, I also felt a sense of peace. Being there mattered. Sometimes love isn't about grand gestures or perfect timing. It's about showing up when it's inconvenient and staying when it would be easier to go. Over the next few days, my visits became routine. I cooked simple meals, fixed a loose step on the porch, and listened to stories about my girlfriend's childhood that made me laugh and ache at the same time. Her mother slowly grew stronger, not just physically, but in spirit, and I realized something was changing in me too. I stopped seeing love as something fragile that needed constant protection. Instead, it became something resilient, capable of stretching to include compassion, patience, and quiet sacrifice. When my girlfriend returned, there were tears, gratitude, and long embraces that said more than words ever could. She understood completely because love had shaped her the same way. That house no longer felt heavy when I visited. It felt alive again, warmed by shared meals and honest conversations. The simple act of staying one night had woven our lives together more tightly than any promise could have. If this story stirred something inside you, if it reminded you of a moment when kindness changed the direction of your life or someone else's, please take a moment now to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Stories Beyond the Porch. Your engagement helps these stories reach hearts that may need them most. And before this story fades into memory, I have one special request. Please comment below and share a time when you chose to stay, even when leaving would have been easier. Your story might be the light someone else is searching for tonight.